The first night in the apartment, I thought silence would save me. No slamming doors, no raised voices searing my skin like open flame. Just the steady hum of the refrigerator and the faint hiss of pipes in the wall. My body didn't quite trust it, though. Every creak felt like the prelude to his shouting. On the counter sat the only wine glass I'd carried from the old house. A sliver-thin fracture ran through its bowl. It caught the light whenever I turned it, a pale scar frozen in glass. I should have tossed it in the move, but something about it felt truer than any of my intact dishes. I poured a splash of wine, held it up to the window, and studied the thin line again. Still holding, despite the crack. That's when I heard her voice. Funny how it still holds. Anna said she was leaning in the doorway, holding a roll of painter's tape. She had appeared as if conjured by my unpacking chaos. Short hair, curled at the ends, paint-speckled shirt, the kind of neighbor who sees everything but doesn't rush to say it. Her eyes were steady on the glass. I laughed, though my throat tightened. Guess I'm not ready to let it go. Her gaze softened. Sometimes the flawed ones carry the most. After she left, I stood over the trash bin with the glass in my hand. The fracture caught against my finger. With one breath, I dropped it in, heard the dull thud. My chest tightened instantly. Minutes later, I fished it out, rinsed it, and set it back on the counter. I couldn't release it. Not yet. The air smelled faintly of plaster and old smoke. I opened the window wider, catching the echo of a dog barking in the alley. Somewhere, a radio played faint salsa music. This wasn't his house anymore. This was mine. Still, the soft clock ticked in my mind. 1 week until the building inspection. 1 week to patch over the past, repaint, erase the damage I'd already brought with me. I told myself I had time. But the fracture line gleamed in the lamplight, as if warning me the past doesn't wait. By midweek, the voicemail light blinked like an accusation. I pressed play, and his voice slid through the speaker, calm, measured, and dripping with venom between pauses. Funny how you think I won't find you. New locks don't change what's owed. I jabbed the delete button, but the chill remained. I didn't notice Anna at first. She was crouched by the plant stand outside my door, retying its loose leg with twine. The voicemail had carried through the thin wall. She straightened, meeting my eyes without a word. That silence cut sharper than pity. Then she nodded toward my laptop, where an email notification flashed. An email from him, subject line empty, but the header read with a string of characters that made no sense. Anna leaned closer, frowning. That's not normal. He's been tracking something. Where you open it from, maybe. A low panic surged. He knew my new address, my new air, my new fragile ground. We painted the stairmill the next day, the smell of fresh latex coating the air. The rollers squeaked as we pressed them to plaster, pale cream swallowing up the gray water stains. Neighbors passed, casting glances that lingered longer than politeness. One whispered to another. I caught the word divorcee floating like smoke. Anna rolled her section higher, her arms stretching, her sleeve sliding back to reveal the faint bruise of an old scar. She didn't flinch under their gaze, but I did. The sun streamed through the landing window, dust shimmering golden in the light. My hand trembled as I pressed paint into the wall. She steadied the tray for me, her fingers brushing mine, casual enough for anyone watching, but grounding enough to make me exhale. A drop of paint splattered onto my wrist, cool against my skin. Anna chuckled, reached for a rag. She said, "Battle scar." I let her wipe it away, though I knew the real stain was inside me. pulsing with every message from him. That night, the voicemail light blinked again. 3 new messages. I unplugged the phone entirely, but the absence of sound felt louder than his words. I told myself I'd sleep. Instead, I stared at the fracture in the glass on the counter, light bouncing across it like a wound refusing to close. Time slipped. Only 4 days left before inspection. I still hadn't patched the wall dents or cleared the broken tiles. Everything felt fragile, waiting to collapse. The package came Thursday. Brown paper, thin as onion skin. It bore the landlord's return address in smudged ink. Relief flickered. Maybe lease papers. Maybe just official things. I slit the tape with my key and outslid a stack of forms, the smell of toner sharp. But between pages, something heavier slipped free. A photograph. Our wedding day. My smile, frozen and obedient beside his clenched jaw. For a breath, the room tilted. The papers were legitimate, the photo wasn't. My mind spiraled. Had the landlord slipped it in? Had he betrayed my attempt at anonymity? Anna picked it up, her brow tightening. This doesn't belong here. She laid it down like it might shatter. Someone's crossing lines. The fracture in the wine glass seemed to glow. I seized it, my pulse pounding, and hurled it into the sink. The crack gave way in a sharp explosion of shards. My sob rose, raw, uncontainable, until I felt hands, Anna's, reaching for the broom, sweeping quietly. She knelt to gather slivers, and one sliced across her palm, blood beaded, bright against porcelain skin. I grabbed a towel, pressing it to her hand, my own shaking. "I'm sorry," I whispered, though I didn't know if I meant for the glass, the photo, or my inability to stop shaking. Her eyes met mine. "Don't be sorry. You're not the one breaking things." The towel dampened warm with her blood. Our breaths synced in the hush. The smell of copper mingled with detergent. For the first time, I felt the weight of my secrets lift, if only an inch, but it was enough for tears to spill freely. Friday night came too quickly. Only 2 days left before inspection. The walls were painted, the trash cleared, but my heart felt unfinished. He was circling still. And Anna, she was bound to me now by blood and bruise. I wondered if I had the right to let her stay that close. Yet, when she pressed her bandaged hand against mine, I didn't pull away. Sunday dawned pale and brittle. The inspector would arrive tomorrow morning. I wanted the apartment spotless, perfect, untraceable. But the lobby smelled of cigarette smoke when I went downstairs, and there he was, my ex, leaning against the wall, the wedding photo in his hand. His smirk widened when he saw me. "Forgot something," he said. The air froze. The red herring collapsed in an instant. It hadn't been the landlord. He'd slipped into the building himself, planting reminders like landmines. My skin prickled with fury. Anna stepped forward from behind me, steady as stone. Her presence turned my shaking legs into roots. He leaned closer. "Thought you could erase me? Everyone here already whispers, and look who you've replaced me with." The words hung like knives. The neighbors in the lobby turned, murmuring. Public, undeniable. The cost shimmered in the air. My safety from my dignity. Her reputation for her loyalty. I inhaled deep, the wineglass fracture echoing in my chest. Not erased, but still holding. "No," I said, voice low but firm. "You don't get to write me anymore." My hands didn't tremble as I reached for Anna's, bandaged and strong. We walked past him, up the stairs, leaving his words to scatter like dust. In my apartment, Anna opened a box I hadn't noticed. Inside lay 2 handmade glasses she'd blown herself, cobalt blue, curved smooth and whole. She pressed one into my hands. It caught the late sun, glowing as if lit from within. The building creaked, pipes hissing, city murmuring below. I raised the unbroken glass to the window, light scattering into the room. Anna's shoulder brushed mine. We didn't need words. The fracture was gone, but its memory lived in me, a scar not hidden, but chosen.